Sorry. God. Anyway, hello everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Me and my co-host Will are back today to do another Marvel Plus Talk podcast. And today we're going to discuss our top 10 favorite Marvel movies. How you doing, Will?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Uh, I mean, uh, yesterday and today I've been putting together my top 10 list, and it was not easy.
No,
And
no.
yeah, oh my god, I was like from 3 to 1, I knew what I wanted to put, and then from 4 to 10, it was kind of difficult, you know.
Mhm.
But how about yours?
Yeah, same. Like the top three, I knew like it would be those. Um, and then the rest, it was kind of hard. Also, uh, am I allowed to put WandaVision on the list, or is that like it's not a movie?
Oh, uh,
But it's like
actually, we kind of cheat because I have two animation movies.
okay. Well,
That's
if they're movies, that's still
Yeah. So you know what? I think we should include the Disney Plus shows because they're technically our mini series. They're not shows. So
right.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't like that's fine. Um, I mean, it's a Marvel channel, so I mean everything has to be Marvel related. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm curious actually. I'm very curious about your list. My list could be just yeah, probably what you expect, but then there's some that's yeah you're not expecting. So we'll see.
hmm
But let's kind of get start from you. What's your number 10? Uh, as your favorite Marvel film? Number
Yeah.
10.
My number 10 is the first Captain America movie.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay.
I really love how like kind of campy it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love how over the top Hydra is. I love the like weird, like cartoony aesthetic that they gave the 1940s.
Mm,
Um,
that's true.
I don't know, it's a really fun movie, and I feel like it gets overlooked because it's like goofier than a lot of the later Marvel movies.
Mm, I
But I
see.
liked that it felt unique. It felt different.
Um, I will say, um, I like the first Avenger. I think when you get the sequels, it makes you enjoy the first film more. Um,
hmm
and like my issues is not like I actually really enjoyed the tone of the film. I actually really love the kind of like optimistic the film is.
Yeah.
Like it's the Superman movie we like should have, but it's with Captain America, and I like that.
hmm
Um, and my major problems with the first Avenger, I mentioned in previous
Yeah.
podcasts. The third act is where it falls apart, and I like the big example, like the most like criticized thing is the way Captain America got into the ice is very convoluted and just like just why it's just
Yeah.
um and then and the action, like the montage action, a lot of people don't like that, but I don't mind that either. So I don't mind that part. So but
Yeah. I
it's
love that montage.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But I will say I think it's good you put that there because I think it's Marvel Studios' second best. Well, let me say third best origin film after Guardians and the first Iron Man film.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. I agree with that.
yeah. So, anything else you want to say before we move on to my 10? Um,
No, I'm excited to hear what yours is.
okay. So for number 10, I have Blade 2, uh,
Okay.
the sequel to the Blade first film. Yeah, so um, I wanted to include, of course, I wanted to spread out, you know, uh, all the MCU and have, the non MCU films,
hmm
and especially sequels because I mean, um, and I feel like Blade 2 is the pinnacle of what Blade is. I mean, like first off, you have Guillermo del Toro directing this film, and he really amps up the action and
Mhm.
the creature designs, um, and Wesley Snipes is in top form as an actor here,
Mhm.
and I fairly enjoyed this film. I mean, because the plot is very good. I can understand what's going on, and like the Reapers are like the most scariest things in horror film I ever seen, and I think this film does a good job of like just giving you what a sequel do. It expand the universe of Blade, and it continue Blade's arc from the first film, and
Mhm.
in a very unique way. I like the character dynamic that we have in this film. I like the female protagonist here. Um, uh, you know, I forgot the character's name, but like she's really great in Blade Two, and Rob Pullman is great in this film as the henchman for the vampire underground. So the sequel is really good. Uh, what were you thinking? Well, Blade Two.
Yeah, I think it's good, and I'm glad you put a Blade movie on there because if I couldn't have WandaVision as an option, the first Blade would have been my number 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the first Blade as well. Yeah, it's always like for me. I think you mentioned how people like overlook certain things, and
Mhm.
I feel like people overlook Blade, the
Yeah,
series. It's like he's the first like proper black superhero like led series before Black Panther.
right. He's just the first
It,
like people always credit like Spider-Man or X-Men with
yeah,
like launching like modern idea of a superhero movie, but Blade came like a few years before the first X-Men movie. So
yeah,
it was really like Blade that kicked it all off.
yeah, yeah, and no, and it's also first. I mean, it's interesting when we talk about rated R. Um, this is like a mainstream superhero art because before, because this is in the '90s, we had like indie films, like the superhero indie films, like The
Mhm.
Crow, and like we had a couple, superhero art films, but like this was like the first major one that was successful before Deadpool happened. That's another thing no one talks about, you know.
Yeah.
So
When were the Punisher movies made?
okay, so oh my god, that character is just like the Hulk, where they just like they have a tough time, like just like starting out the franchise. So the first attempt is in 1989
Okay.
with Duff
Right.
Logan, um, and then the second one is the Thomas Jane one in 2004, and of course he did like a short film called Dirty Laundry. It's a good short. Check it out, guys. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, it's really great. I love Travis Day. I think he's my favorite version of the Punisher in film. Minus John Bernthal. And then the third and kind of like last attempt for like a film Punisher is, of course, Punisher Warsaw with Ray uh, Stevenson, or that's
Yeah,
that
Ray
character. Yeah,
Stevenson.
that. Yeah. Okay. Who of course, who goes into Thor? He plays Volska, and
Yep.
for
Full
these
staff.
first three films, yeah. And so yeah, those are the three Punisher films. So yeah, uh, it's weird how they cannot start that. Like, I mean, it's tough to make these films.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go into number nine.
Yeah, my number 9 is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun. I love Taika Waititi as a director, and I like the way that it reinvented Thor as a character.
Mm, agree. Uh, I guess, um, uh, I guess, yeah, we we discussed like our rankings from the trilogies of
Right.
Captain America. And yeah, I think I made a video for top 10 MC films. I put this as number seven.
Hmm.
And yeah, I agree. I mean, everyone has said before the film is great. It's very like for me, it's definitely it is the most ambitious film that the third film become, has done, and it exceeded that compared to the first or really the second film.
Yeah.
So, and it has an identity, which you and I had discussed in the first two Thor podcasts that we did,
Hmm.
that these films had struggled to have identity and really just a strong vision that I think Marvel Studios and everyone can agree on. And
Right.
like, it's just this one, like, it clicked this time around. So,
Hmm.
which is good. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I think this is where you saw Phase Three as the best phase. I think Phase Four is doing great. I enjoy Phase Four. But at that moment, I think Thor Ragnarok definitely showed me that they improved after Phase Two, because I feel like Phase Two was lackluster and
See,
wasn't. Oh,
I
sorry.
think
Go ahead.
Phase Two is great, but it ends where it ends with Ant-Man and Age of Ultron, which are like not as strong.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Phase Two had Iron Man 3 and Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy.
yes.
Like, had
Yeah.
a lot of really good movies.
Yeah. I'm saying
Went
just
out on a fizzle.
yeah, fizzle. Yeah. I'm not saying like it's bad. I'm just saying it. What's the word? Like, it doesn't reach the heights like the first phase or even the third phase. Like,
Yeah.
it's missing that like lead up
Hmm.
for me, and I feel like that was kind of the problem, because I agree. I mean, there are good films. It's just that with the good films there, Age of Ultron kind of retcons some certain things, or like they wrap up storylines we thought and we're gonna move forward. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
like Iron Man 3. A lot of people thought Iron Man 3, Tony retired, which that was not true, and it's just yeah, it's just the series is moving parts, and sometimes you have to take it or leave it.
Hmm.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about your number nine? Well, um,
I guess I love Jeff Goldblum, so having him show up and be himself was a fun time.
oh my god, I enjoy it. Oh, we can talk a little bit about the jokes. I agree with you. Jeff Goldblum is great. I
Mhm.
love the jokes in these films. I love Help. Was it Get Help?
Get help. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then I love um, uh, fake Loki, fake Odin. When he sees Thor, he say, "Oh, S,"
Yep.
and that was funny from Anthony Hawkins. And
Yeah.
then, oh my god, and my personal favorite joke from this film is the snake story that Thor
Yep.
tells.
Hmm.
Oh my god, that cracks me up, especially Mark Ruffalo's reaction to the story, and like he looks at Loki. It's a funny film. I love Thor Ragnarok. It's great.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I think yeah. My mom likes that film as well. She has a chance to see that film, and it's. Yeah, I mean, all Disney films are fun, but I think this one just hits the right spot.
Hmm.
Oh man. Anything else? I think what else? I want to mention Thor
I'm
Ragnarok.
ready to hear about your number nine.
Okay. All right. So we're going back to a sequel. Number nine is X2, X-Men United.
All right.
Okay. So obviously, I think when we get to June, folks, you're gonna see me as a huge X-Men fan. And look, I got a soft spot for the X-Men films. And oh my god, it was tough to put how many X-Men films I had to put here. Like, oh my god, like it was so tough, Will. And
Yeah.
yeah, and especially like First Class, I love. And but I thought to myself, like, okay, which film I watched repeatedly? Like, in for me, like, I picked the movies that like resonate me. that was like personal for me as
Mhm.
a person now as I'm growing, and or how like rewatchable it is. And I feel like X2 is like the like I mentioned how Blade 2 expand the universe and like tech takes up a notch. That's what X2 is. Like I enjoyed the first X-Men film, but I don't watch it as often, and
Mhm.
it feels like a TV pilot. Its action's okay, and like the villain plot with Magneto, it's interesting, but like it's just kind of undercooked. Here, X2 is complete. Like, I mean, come on. The only reason I now put X Men First Class is X2 has the best opening for any superhero film. I mean,
Mhm.
oh my god, the Nightcrawler, like him attacking the the agents, what do you call the secret agents in the White House. It's like
Yeah, the Secret Service.
Secret Service. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's I mean, and with the John Amen's score of Requiem, it's perfect. It's like
Mhm.
right away they're confident and like they like step up from 10 times from the first film, and it's amazing.
Mhm.
Um, of course, the early films they focus on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. He has a really great part here. About him like discovering who he is and like um like what happened to him before the Weapon X program and like all that. It's really interesting. And then the villain, Stryker, is probably the best X-Men villain we have. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a great film. What's your thoughts on
Yeah.
X2?
X2 appears on my list further up. So
Oh my God,
yeah, no,
I'm
I love
curious.
this one. This is my favorite X-Men movie.
Oh man, I'm industry.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But
I'm looking at my list now, and I realized that I forgot about Logan.
oh my God.
Logan won't be on my list, but it should be.
Okay.
I think Logan would be my favorite X-Men movie, but this is like a close second.
Close second. Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, I have Logan on my list, so
Okay.
but
Yeah. You
it
get to talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So no worries. Yeah, safe here, X2, because I mean we have different opinions on X2. So um, I guess um, the reason I don't put this as higher, of course, it's good you mentioned how high you put the films that we have the same in our list.
Mhm.
My reason not put it higher is yes, X2 is great. It's just they set up something, and of course, X Men: The Last Stand didn't follow up it
Yeah. That's
as well,
yeah.
and it's like and um, and of course, I mean, all of us don't like the director, but
No, no.
Brian's, oh
Terrible
no,
person.
yeah, terrible person, but like I feel like when he left, it caused the franchise to kind of like lose direction for
Yeah.
the next.
They like changed directions, and it was for the worst.
Yeah, so but it's still a great film. I think it delivers on what a sequel should be. So
Yeah.
yeah. What's so now we're up to number 8. What's your number 8, Will?
Right. So this is where I put WandaVision.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
So
which I mean, obviously we've talked about a lot. Um, but it's like the perfect mix of like a bunch of different interests that I have.
okay.
And I thought, like, for the most part, it was executed really well. And it was like the biggest risk that it feels like Marvel's taken with their like live action stuff. So,
Mm, that's true.
yeah, it would be higher if like the ending wasn't as like generic. But oh man, those
Yeah.
episodes are incredible.
Oh my God. What is it? Episode 8. Uh, 6 or
See, 6 is the Malcolm in the Middle one.
okay. I like that one because that's with
I think.
the
Or
Halloween.
no, maybe
Yeah.
6.
yeah, and then episode 4, and those are my favorite episodes
Okay.
from
Yeah.
One Division. Um, um, but yeah, I agree. You, I, if yeah, if I put any TV show that I love, it has to be Legion because and
Mhm.
One Division as well. Those two are be the ones that I put in my top 10 list of Mormon films,
Yeah.
and I feel like well, I'll discount Legion because that's a TV show, but One Division is it's amazing. I love I'm happy we got Scar Witch, like the proper Scar Witch, and I feel like that show. I love the best thing. I think I prefer this. Yeah, I love One Dimension more over, um, Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it was more
Mhm.
a character driven show, and
Yeah.
I love the development of Wanda and Vision.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, and you're right. It was no. It's definitely the most risky project that MCU did,
Hmm.
and I love that, and I love the creativity, and I just love how they use sitcom in general. I think that's the best aspect about the show for me.
Yeah, you could feel the like passion behind it.
Yeah,
Whereas Falcon and the Winter Soldier felt a little like, well, we need to make this story.
yeah. Well, and I kind of felt bad for them because we like it seemed like they had to rewrite certain plot points
Mm.
during the pandemic, and like I can't blame them. So, but that's what it is.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, it shows. If I haven't seen any studio that like because for me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a good show and it sticks the landing. It's just where if we talk about like Warner Brothers or Paramount or something like that, like if their show had to rewrite certain things, it's gonna literally fail. But with Falcon and Winter Soldier, it didn't fail. It stick the landing. It just had like couple plot points we didn't get. It didn't develop. Like it was underdeveloped, and
Yeah,
and I prefer that over just not sticking the landing. So,
right.
um, I guess, what's your favorite episodes, Will? Because I mentioned mine, so I'm
Of
curious.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the first two,
Okay. Yeah.
where
First
you
two's
like
good.
don't really know what's going on at all.
Yeah.
Um, and then the episode where it's episode 8, where Agatha is like walking through all of Wanda's memories.
Yes.
I thought that was really great for like character development and
Yeah.
just like a
It's
lot of like interesting stuff going on in that one.
yeah. Yeah. My favorite part of that episode is seeing like the early parts of Wanda and seeing like her love of sitcoms and
Mhm.
like that was like first off a great like first flashback to tell me, oh my god, now everything makes sense why we were doing a sitcom. Um, that was good. Anything else we have to mention with One Division? Will? Um,
Um, I don't know. It's just again, it's like the perfect mix of like my love of superheroes and my love of sitcoms and
yes.
television. Um, man, it's just
Speechless.
like yeah, so creative, so like
Yes. Oh
new,
my god.
fresh, and
Yeah. I
just
agreed.
a joy to watch.
Yeah. Ugh. Um, yeah, I think it was a great start for Phase 4.
Mhm.
I kind of wish Marvel kind of acknowledged that this is the first start of Phase 4. Like, they're thinking, like, they're they're forcing this idea that Black Widow is the first start of Phase 4 because it's the
Mhm.
movie, you know?
Well, I think because it was originally supposed to come out first, right?
Um,
Black Widow.
yes, before the Disney Plus shows, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's why.
Uh, I, it's a weird thing. I mean, we're at now, like, we're 2 more months, Will. two
I
more
know.
months, and then we'll discuss that. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I love this show. I think it's probably my favorite 2021 show of all time. So I think um, I really enjoyed the costume designs of this show,
Yeah. Yep.
and I love Scarlet Witch suit. Uh, like finally, we got the proper Scarlet Witch costume, and that made me happy. All right. Do you want to? Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Okay. So number 8, another sequel, and it's Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Uh, well, um, yeah, this it's kind of difficult because oh my god, like you got this film, the first Spider-Man film, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Spider-Verse. Those are like my favorite Spider-Man films,
Hmm.
and it was tough to put. Uh, we're gonna have multiple X-Men films and Spider-Man films in this list, right? And I just personally just put Spider-Man 2 here. I feel like um, out of the sequels we have from the 3 different versions of Spider-Man we have in the big screen, I
Hmm.
feel like Spider-Man 2 is the best. I mean, look, Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's weak. And then,
Yeah, Amazing
yeah,
Spider-Man 2 is not good.
yeah, it's not good. And then um, Far From Home is um it's enjoyable. I like Far From Home, but like it doesn't reach the heights that I think Spider-Man: Homecoming does, and it feels rush. Unfortunately, I don't feel um I don't feel anyone has their hearts in that film compared to Homecoming. So I feel like
Mm.
that was just a rush job. Whereas Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 did came out 2 years. I mean, it's 2004, and then the first film was 2002, and
Mhm.
and this film just takes up the notch. I think Sam Raimi does an amazing job of like doing the action. That's another thing. I think this is the best Spider-Man action we have. Um, I mean, out of all the Spider-Man live action films, I mean, the train fight scene with Doc Ock is amazing. I mean,
Mhm.
um, and I mean, this is like the only superhero film so far that won an Oscar for special effects, and like you can see why. I mean, Doc Ock is amazing in this film. That's another
Mhm.
reason. It's the villain, and this has the best villain ever. Um, in my opinion, I know. I
Mhm.
mean, it was tough for me to put him and then versus Keaton Vulture, which I also love. But I feel like Doc Ock just like he's my favorite Spider-Man villain, and I feel like Sam Raimi and the writers did such a good job of adapting this character. Um, but what do you think, Will, of Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite of the Raimi movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree. I usually have, weirdly, since Spider-Man is my favorite, like Marvel character,
Uh-huh.
I only have one Spider-Man movie on here.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Say that. I'm curious about
yeah,
that.
no, it's very high up in the list.
Oh my god. One Spider-Man film. Okay. I'll let you know. I only after this, I only have one more Spider-Man film, and it's at my number 3. So let you
Okay.
know. So I'm curious, you think in your head, what is it? What is this other Spider-Man film that I have in my list? Yeah, what other things I like about Spider-Man 2? Uh, yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about Spider-Man 2. It's a good sequel. I enjoy it.
Mhm.
It's top form sequel, and it's amazing. No pun intended, folks. Um, But yeah. Oh my god. You want to move on to number 7 on your list? Well,
Yeah.
okay.
My number 7 is Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, I just love like the humor. I think they did a really good job at adapting the character into film. I was a little worried about it because like
Yeah.
uh, I feel like Deadpool's like reputation is that he's just like a walking meme. But they actually
Yeah.
made him like like actually funny instead of just like cringy internet attempts at humor.
Yeah.
Um, and like the innovation of making his eyes like actually move in the mask is just like such a
Yes.
great thing, and I'm glad that they were able to like incorporate that into Spider-Man too, because
Yeah.
it just adds so much.
Yeah. Same year. Um. Same year with that. Deadpool and Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Civil War. Same year. 2016. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 I like the first two Deadpools. I think I like the second film more over the first film. It's just because it's more wackier and like
okay, yeah, I get that.
yeah, you know. But I think in terms of tightly written film, that's the first film. I feel like there's a
Hmm.
lot more heart and this film's been in development, and I feel like that the writing is just spot on and like it's tightly woven. I like this film a lot more. I think I when I do like a Redux X-Men list in the channel or discussion with you either way, I definitely put it above Deadpool 2 because I think it feels more like a film because you got a villain that like you have here. I actually like Ajax in this film as
Yeah,
the
it was
villain.
interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like he kind of like feels generic, but like if you look at the X-Men universe, I feel like he's an instant character. Um, but but yeah, I enjoyed the jokes in Deadpool. I like the Ripley line. It says to you know, hello Ripley to the other man
Hmm.
and the X Mansion, Teenage Warhead, and
Yeah.
I love Colossus, and he's funny here. um, yeah, so it's a good film. I really enjoy it. Anything else you want to mention for Deadpool?
um, just Ryan Reynolds casting is perfect. I
Yes,
can't
I
imagine anyone
know.
else in that role.
I know. I agree with you. I mean it's crazy. Like he's the one actor after Chris Evans has appeared in the most comic book movies. Like he's in Blade Trinity, he's in X Men Origins Wolverine, obviously as Deadpool, and
Yep.
then Green Lantern, R.I.P.D. with Jeff Bridges. That was a comic book film, and then
Hmm.
in these two films, Deadpool and Deadpool 2. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I agree. Ryan Reynolds is great. The casting's top notch in this film. I really
Mhm.
enjoy it.
Yeah. All
Uh,
right. What's your number seven?
okay, you know what? It's funny you mentioned Ray art film. So the complete opposite film of Deadpool, I got Logan here, folks, and it's number seven. So I have Logan. Um, this one was a tough one to put. I it's I I with these films, I put the films where how many times I watched this film. But
Okay.
if I see this film in theaters, if I see it twice, you are automatically my favorite film. If I see you the second time, and Logan is the film for 2017 I saw twice, and it was the only film in 2017 I saw twice. And I think I remember my good friend my good friend outside of the CSS, Tristan. Of course, everyone knows as Miss Flamingo. One of my film buff friends. Uh, we were we were supposed to go Consco Island that year, but then
Mhm.
when I had a chance to see Logan with my dad, I told her, no, we need to see Logan. It's amazing, and because I was like the first viewing was so shocking for me, like
Mhm.
especially like Xavier's death. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I can't believe what I saw, and I had to see it the second time, and the second time was amazing. And oh my god, this film is amazing. One of my favorite X-Men films. It's if we do an X-Men ranking, this is number two for me after my first personal X-Men film. Um, which I'm not gonna mention because it's in this list as
Yeah,
well.
it's coming up.
Yeah. Um, and oh my god, what do you think about Will Logan? Take
I
your
mean, I love that movie. Um, just like took a character that we had grown to love over like 2 decades, and then just like really explored the tragedy of the character and his story. Um,
yeah.
Gave Hugh Jackman a chance to like really have like a dramatic turn as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my god. Oh, I. Oh my god, his performance is great in this film. Um, and this film made me like James Mangold as a filmmaker, and
mhm.
since then I have loved his films. I mean, and this film, it made me appreciate the Wolverine more, and so that's good. Um, and I love Ford v Ferrari, and I seen Walk the Line. That was like the last film I saw before Ford v Ferrari, and that was great too. And he's a great filmmaker. I was happy he came back and made a superior film after the Wolverine. Um,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I appreciate the Wolverine more because of what he was trying to do. And oh my god, great filmmaker. And I love Patrick Stewart. We should also mention that's his performance here is also great. Oh my god,
Mhm.
and it's so sad and but like he's the heart of the film and like just oh my god, and great action scenes as well. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah,
oh my god, just enjoy it all around. Anything else meant to mention about Logan? Will, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So number six was your favorite
Yeah,
horror
so
film.
this is where I put X2.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is the movie where um like when I was really young, I really liked reading like Spider-Man comics, and I would watch like cartoons, and then I kind
Mhm.
of like moved away from it, and I wasn't
Wow.
like watching or like reading a lot of superhero stuff, and then I saw X2, um, and like just it had so many interesting like powers and like action scenes. It was just really cool, and it kind of like got me back into it. Um,
Amazing.
so it holds a soft spot in my heart.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but especially like Nightcrawler and like the use of his powers
Yes. Yeah.
is incredible. Yeah.
Um. Yeah. That's another thing I appreciate the X Men films is the way they displayed the powers.
Hmm.
This and of course the Quicksilver scene and Days of Future Past, and so yeah, they did a good job of depicting Nightcrawler. That's another thing I like about X2.
Hmm.
So and the juggle of characters.
Yeah.
That's something that these films have been struggling, but when they get it right, they get it right, and this film got it right.
Hmm.
So that's good. Yeah, I agree. I like how you put that in high list. And this film has the most X Men like it's the X Men film that okay, this is the X Men like no the thematic themes of the X Men, predators and the fear of them and like it's
Right.
all forced in this film
Right. Yeah.
perfectly. Yeah. So you kind of cut a little cut out. What'd you say?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
It's like the perfect like version of the X-Men, where
Yeah.
they're working as a team. There's like
Yes.
a family dynamic, and also there's like all those like social problems that they're addressing. Um,
Yep.
the metaphor of the mutant gene. So it's
Yep. Yep.
yeah, it's my favorite X-Men like team movie. You know,
Mm. And this
I think
great.
I would put Logan ahead of it. if I had remembered to put it on my list. But uh,
um,
um,
yeah,
for like the team X-Men movies, it's definitely
yes,
my favorite.
yes, I agree. This First Class and Days of Future Past are the best like team
Yeah,
X-Men films for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I feel like they're like the best in terms of representation. And for me, Logan is like the best solo film for like
Mhm.
a center character.
Yeah,
So
it's more like
yeah,
it's driven by a specific character. So
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So that's how I kind of differentiate the X Men films, and I feel like those are my like reason why I like those films. Yeah. Okay. Anything else to mention? Your six on the list? Well,
I mean, I think we talked about it
yeah,
before. So yeah,
yeah.
let's
Okay.
go.
Okay. So for number six, I got Captain America: Civil War.
All right.
Okay. So this one is another one that's personal for me. This is my personal, and I saw this film twice in theaters. This is the first film, the first MCU film I saw with my good friend Miss Flamingo, and so this holds dear to my heart. Of course, I met my friend over County College Mars during
Mhm.
2016, and then when we started to watch films together, when we started to hang out. Of course, our first film together was Green Room. That was with the late Anton Yunch. Correct me, Will. The late actor that's Chekhov from Star Trek.
Oh,
And Anton.
uh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
we saw that film together. Let's kind of be clear. And then when we had a chance to see Civil War, it was special. And then I saw it twice. I saw this in my Mother's Day as well. I second viewing was my mom, and it was kind of ironic. I took her in Mother's Day. Uh, if you guys know what happened. uh, yeah, this film is amazing. I mean, um, I it was tough to put this and Winter Soldier, and I just thought to myself like, okay, which film watched the most, and I quite enjoy and love and personal like all that, and this film totally caps like that. It's my personal film in the MCU because it dears my heart uh, for a specific moment in my life, and then I saw it twice in theaters, and then two, it's definitely the best third film in the MCU after Iron Man 3, and it's number one at below Iron Man 3 and Thor Ragnarok because of just the amazing juggling of characters they do. I mean, this like you have the returning characters, and then you have Black Panther being introduced here, and then they had to introduce a new Spider-Man, and they did like a crazy, and they handled it to a T, and
Mhm.
it's incredible. And and it, of course, it start phase three. It set up the themes that we're going to see in Infinity War and Endgame, and it was satisfying in those films. And yeah, it's an incredible, and then of course the airport scene is amazing as well. It's one of the best sequels. I think as we mentioned before previously in podcasts, the Captain America trilogy is the best in superhero genre, and I think it's the
Mhm.
best series in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What do you think about Captain America: Civil War?
Yeah, no, I think that one's good. It's I think they had a tough job balancing all of those characters,
Hmm.
and I don't know if they like in my mind, I don't know if they fully succeeded, but they definitely did a good job of like having them
Mm,
all there and it not like fully detract from the main story, which was about Steve and Tony. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, Spider-Man inclusion is a little forced. Like some commentators mention that, and I agree with that. But it's just the way they handle Tom Holland, and his interaction with characters is amazing.
mhm.
So yeah, but, yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to say about Civil War? Will?
No, I'm ready to move on, I think.
Okay. What's your number five?
My number five was the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, you're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's a really good like introduction to the team. I think
mhm.
James Gunn's like voice really shines through in it. Um, I don't know. It just felt really like unique and different, and in a way where like around the time it came out, I was starting to worry like wouldn't it be possible
Yeah,
Marvel movie because like they were all starting to kind of feel similar.
yeah. And then this one completely just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, what is it, disrupt that? And like,
Yeah.
it was such a good disruption, which is great. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I almost considered to put Guardians of the Galaxy in this list. And the reason I didn't put it here is because I didn't want too many MCU films in this list.
Okay. Yeah. I
And,
did
and
not
yeah,
did not put that limit on myself.
yeah. That's okay. I mean, it's fascinating. We have different. It's better to have
Mhm.
different lists.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that. And also, like, I mean, when we do like an actual MCU list, it's gonna be different anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fine. So I like you put Guardian of the Galaxy because that crushed me that I couldn't put it in my list. Um, so yeah, but it's good. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. That's another film I saw twice in theaters, and
Hmm.
um, I just I think um, it definitely was a kind of crucial moment, but um, it's one of my personal favorite in the NC films, and I love the soundtrack. That's another thing about
Hmm.
this film. It's just made me love old music and like and have one of my favorite songs that I love. So it's a great film.
Hmm.
And this is the second best origin film after Iron Man.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anything else? What's your fifth list?
No. Yeah. What's your number five?
Uh, so interesting. So the flip flow of that, and this is the first animation film in this list, and so mine's is another superhero team, and that's Big Hero 6.
All right. Yeah.
And so yeah, um I picked this movie. This is my it's that this is what came out in 2014 as well as Guardians, and I really love this film. It's one of my favorite Disney films, animation film, uh,
Mhm.
after Wreck and Ralph and Raya and the Last Dragon and Moana and Zootopia. It's one of the best character single character origin story. Because the team up is okay, but like Teshiel, like his arc of losing his brother and like him like accepting his brother's death and then yeah, Baymax helping him. It's like
Mhm.
such great storytelling, and it's like um I love that you mentioned One Division. Like another thing I like about One Division and this film is how they handle grief and like
Mhm.
death, and I
Yeah.
love it's one of the most like one of the best films handling those kind of themes in a current film, and I think it's definitely top tier Pixar kind of film.
Mhm.
Um, I love the visual style of this universe. I love the mix of Tokyo and San Francisco, like
Yeah.
the Eastern and the Western cultures, and like it gives this film such a vibe, and I love that.
Mhm.
Um, it's one of the best superhero base or like turning into like a original film. It's one of the best, and I love it. It's amazing film.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, but
Oh,
I
okay,
really loved it when I saw it. So
yeah, yeah. I hopefully they expand this universe. I hope to see a live action one. I mean,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
potential there.
They had a TV show on
Uh,
Disney Channel, I think.
yeah, I Disney XD and yeah, um, yeah, but I wish it was like because the Baymax is going to be more connected to the film, and it's weird how they handled that,
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a chance to see this show. I heard it was good, and but it doesn't pick up the things that the first film left off. So, uh,
Kingdom Hearts 3 has a Big Hero 6 level that
oh,
takes place like after the movie.
oh my God, that's cool. Hopefully, Tommy is doing Twitch, and he's doing the
Yeah,
game.
he's been streaming the Kingdom Hearts games. So
Yeah,
eventually
yeah,
we'll get to 3. You could watch
yeah,
that.
yes. Oh my God, now I'm excited for that. That's streaming now. Oh, to see that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah, that'll be perfect universe to play around. That's good. But yeah. And yes, to mention for Big Hero 6. Um, um,
I don't know. I don't know if I have a lot to talk about it since
yeah,
I haven't
uh,
seen it in like 7 years. But
yeah, that's true. Wow, 7 years. Oh my God.
yeah, wow, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get to number four, Phil.
My number 4 is the first Avengers movie.
Okay.
You were talking about like movies that you've seen twice in theaters. I saw the first Avengers 6 times in theaters.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yep, I think opening weekend I saw it 3 times.
Oh my God, you're lucky. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw it once in theaters. That's so upsetting for me. Oh my God. Oh, so but yeah, man, the Avengers, man. Oh man, the Avengers. Why isn't your number four? I'm curious.
Yeah, I. It's just such like an iconic movie.
Yes.
It's so like quotable, and there's like at the time it felt so like unprecedented to have like all these movies come together. It felt like I was like witnessing something like special. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this was man, this was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, people were not expecting that, but it happened
Hmm.
in the first weekend. I mean, it was a big deal, and it was colorful. It was like it's what a superhero film should be for me,
Hmm.
and it delivered that. I almost could put this at number 10 because I love the Avengers. I rewatch it after I got
Hmm.
the film, and every time it's in the TV, I want to watch it. But it's kind of like I saw it once in theaters, and it's like, kills me. Like I saw Dark Shadows twice that year, and like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that in that May, and then I didn't see the Avengers twice. It's like, oh my God, it kills me. But I saw Dark Knight Rises twice, folks, so I was happy about that. And you know who I am, and Skyfall saw twice in theaters. So anyway, so that's why it's not on my list. And Josh Whedon, he's another automatic director. I'm kind of curious to ask you if that does that distract you while watching the film?
Not well. There are times where it does. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Um, I remember like a few years ago, there were conversations about like how he would have like inappropriate relationships with like smaller name actresses that were in
Yes.
his movies, and he would give them like bigger roles.
Right.
Um, and he like watching the two Avengers movies that he did, you can tell which characters that was. So it's like definitely the waitress in the first
Yeah.
movie, and then the mother of the kid in Sokovia in the
Mm.
second one.
Oh my
Um,
God. Yeah. Um.
'cause, like the camera will just like linger on them, or like there's they just have like lines, and they don't really contribute anything to the movie, and it feels out of place.
Oh my god, he does that again in Justice League. When I had a chance to see that, he did that
Yeah,
with the.
I
Oh
saw it in like 2018. I saw his version, and I mean, it was terrible. I was having
yeah,
trouble focusing, so I don't
yeah.
remember that. But
Yeah, I saw it in TNT, so I just saw it in TV. I didn't see it in theaters. So
yeah,
I
I didn't
was,
see it in theaters either.
yeah. Um, um, no, he did. He kind of did. He did it, but he didn't do it with a female character. He just did it with a family, and like
Oh yeah,
the Russian family.
yeah, with
It's
the
become.
flash save.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. It's interesting. I don't want to defend it, but the first Avenger, with the girl and the first Avenger was fine. I like the scene.
It wasn't terrible. It just
Yeah,
like it was unnecessary.
yeah. Well, my thing is she had a better scene, but it was deleted.
Right, the one that also had a Stan Lee cameo, right?
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
I I felt like that made more sense, and then
yeah,
it could have been a better payoff, but it wasn't.
yeah.
Um, um, but I completely agree with Age of Ultron. That one was just so tedious. I was like, really? Like, oh my god. Yeah, it was horrible. Uh, yeah. Ugh. Yeah. It doesn't like his personal stuff doesn't distract me with these two films. Just a little, depending on the plot point.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I never thought about those two, but then it kind of makes sense, and you're right. Well, um, the one that does bug me is the Bruce and Natasha relationship.
Yeah, in Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's tough.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to say about the Avengers?
Um. No, I'm ready to hear your number four.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So you got the first film that merged all the, was it the five films and the phase one of
Hmm.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I got the first film that started it, folks. Iron Man is number four. Boom. Ah,
All right.
perfect. Yep, yep. Okay. Um, um, in terms of Marvel characters, um, is like my personal and favorite in the universe is Iron Man. It's the first Iron Man film got me into the Marvel comics because I mean at this point I was a DC guy,
Mhm.
and honestly I'm a Batman fan. If you haven't listened to these podcasts, and every time I mention Batman, it's obvious. But Iron Man is my favorite character in the Marvel universe, and I love the first Iron Man film. It got me into the character, and ever since then, I've been collecting the comic books, and him and Black Widow and Miss Marvel are the three characters I've been consistently getting their comic books, and that's good.
Mhm.
Um, I love the first Iron Man. It's one of the best origin story film. It just does great things, paying off this just minor things that's great, like Tony's arc, and then when he wants to dispose the first prototype. I love how Pepper kept it, and like a nice, like nice thing, of course, saying proving that Tony has a heart, and I love how it comes back and he uses after Obadiah State to takes the second arc
Mhm.
reactor, and like he uses the first prototype and saves him. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
perfect payoff. Oh my god, love this film. What do you think about Will of
Yeah.
the first
So
Iron Man
the
film?
first Iron Man is actually my number three pick.
Oh my god. Oh,
So, yeah. No, I definitely agree. It's just like very tightly made, and casting
yeah.
is on point.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And humor is great. There's good action. Like it really set the tone for like what all the future MCU movies would be. Um,
Yes.
and it like I think it's the one that does it the best. So
Yes. I
yeah.
agree. Um. Oh my god. Yeah. Um. Yeah. You mentioned casting. Do you like Howard? as Rhodey in this film.
I think I prefer Don Cheadle, but
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
like I can see him as Rhodey. I can't see him as War Machine.
No, no, I agree. Uh, yeah. Um. Yeah. Uh. I. I prefer the look of this film. Like it feels like a film, and it doesn't feel like a TV film. And I that's something that some of the MSA films lack. Because like this film and the second film has the same cinematographer that
Mm-hmm.
photographed all the Darren Aronofsky films, and like it makes these films so rich,
Mm-hmm.
especially like the Star Expo, like
Yeah, that's a great
that's good.
scene.
Yeah. Um, Anything else you want to say about the first Iron Man film?
It's a classic. I think like part of me thinks it's like kind of sad that the first film in the MCU is also like one of the best, but
Yeah.
it's just so good.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's like the second one they were trying to do the second film had like unfortunately when you're like an independent studio, like
Hmm.
if you don't have that source of revenue,
Yeah,
then I feel like like Iron Man was their only thing because the Hulk
right.
didn't perform well, and
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's like all the future ones feel like they're trying to capture what Iron Man had.
yeah.
Um,
um yeah, I didn't I I don't know, like I forgot to mention this, but like I thought after the Avengers I thought we're gonna go do more comic book things,
mhm.
and but in reality it couldn't make sense of the world they created, and so it did disappoint me, especially with Iron Man 3 because of the mantra thing, and like
Yeah,
I was like I was fine until the twist that wasn't Ben Kingsley. I was like, oh my god, like he's such a perfect actor. It's just ugh. I don't know. Yeah, they have the right ingredients. It's like they're missing that one like DNA that
hmm,
can hold it together, and it's just I just don't get it.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. I had the same feeling with that. I think I like Iron Man 3 more over Iron Man 2 because it's more focused, and
hmm,
it's doing something about Tony, and like because it came out after the Avengers, it really explored that. Where Iron Man 2, like they're hitting the right buttons, but then they kind of start slacking,
yeah,
and that's like okay. I mean, and then of course it's trying to set up the Avengers, and it's like yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
this is your
yeah.
number three. Um,
Right. So, what's your number 3?
oh, my number three. Okay, so now going back to Spider-Man, I got
Okay.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
All right.
Um, okay, I, for me, of course, um, I only saw it once in theaters. I saw it multiple times in TV, and the thing I like about this film is, um, I think my first feeling, I'm like, okay, this is the best Spider-Man film because it
Mhm,
gives you like it's such a love layer to Spider-Man, just
mhm.
like I like how the Lego Batman film was to Batman,
Yeah.
and, and that's the thing I love about this. But the difference is, Batman, the Lego Batman film was like a comedy, like satire about superheroes and like Batman in large, right?
Mhm,
I like how Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse tackle like some of the things you don't think about Spider-Man, like like everyone could be Spider-Man, because he's like full on, like you don't know who Spider-Man is with the mask, and I really like the thing everyone could be Spider-Man, and I love how like meeting like expectations of yourself, like like Miles can do a lot of things, but like
mhm,
he's not like trying to like he feel like he has to meet expectations, but he's not realizing like you should meet your own expectations, not everyone's
mhm,
opinion of yourself, like that. And I love the um, just the comic book of it. Like I love how we use the panel like grid, and like
Mhm.
I love how we use the colors of of this film. It's really great, and I love how they juggle characters. It's amazing, and as a Latino person, that's another thing I love about Morales. Is like he's a Latino, and that
Mhm.
it's like he's like the first American character I relate to, and they handle all that well, and that's the thing I like about this film. And it's one of the best version of Kingpin. I love that we got Kingpin as a villain of Spider-Man, and this
Mhm.
didn't disappoint. And it's such a thrill ride from the beginning to end. It's one of the best animated films I've seen recently. What do you think, Will?
Yeah. So this was actually my number two.
Look how we're overlapping. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Uh,
glad to hear that you found the like Latino representation uh like
um, they,
good
they,
and rewarding. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you were able to like see yourself like reflected on screen through Miles.
yeah. And I relate to Miles as well. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
no, I mean I do too. He's
Yeah.
such a great character, and I think they did a really good job of like giving him like personality and making him relatable and likable and uh, yeah, and the movie's so like tightly written. Uh,
Yes.
you mentioned the art direction and how everything looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
Just like every detail in that movie was so meticulously planned. Um, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's amazing. I was so happy it won the Oscar in 2018.
Mhm. Yeah, me too.
Um, yeah, it was such a big deal for me because it topped everything. Because I I guess we can also discuss it. It's funny how the theme expectations is in this film.
Hmm.
Everyone has such a low expectation, and I actually love after this film it meet the expectations,
Hmm.
and that's one of the things I love about this film. It's such a great meta commentary, and it's like, oh, I just love it. Um, oh my god, it's great. It's oh my god, amazing, and I think it's one of the best representation of Peter Parker, like the Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Um, I like the Tom Holland films. I mean, I love Spider-Man Homecoming. And
Hmm.
it's my number 9 film of the NC film. But like, I just I feel like the NC film's missing something about Spider-Man that I like, and this film brought it back. What I like about Spider-Man as a character,
Hmm.
and Spider-Man 2 as well. What makes me like Spider-Man as a
Yeah.
character?
Yeah, I think what Tom Holland is missing is that feeling that he's like an underdog.
Yes, that's true. Thank you.
Like he's got like the personality, he's got the character down, but then he's got the resources of Tony Stark.
I know.
So it's like there's not as much like tension there.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. That I it it doesn't bother me, but like it's just the way they talk about it, like him being the next Iron Man. It's just that's
Hmm.
it's not what I want. You know.
Right. Yeah, I want him to be his own thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I guess another thing about this and Spider-Man 2 I like, and this is something I also put in my list. And if you see, folks, I prefer when they adapt complex storylines or like loosely based. If you
Hmm.
handle that well, I love this film because sometimes I don't like they make up storylines and like in general making up stuff, and that's where that's the worst films we have. Like I like X2 because there's also adapt God's man and God's love a man kills storyline so well.
Hmm.
Um, and I prefer this version over the comic book because I read that comic book and it's good. It's great. But I think X2 is superior. And then Spider-Man 2 adapts, the famous storyline, no more. Spider-Man No More, and I love how they like adapted that. I like Logan. I think Logan is a better version over the old man Logan storyline. And I like Spider-Verse because um, I love this film made me like the concept of the Spider-Verse because I don't know. Do you like the concept of the Spider-Verse? Well,
Uh, it's a little contrived, but I
okay.
love the characters that came out of it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it in the comics, but I like the characters came after it. Came
Yeah.
from that. But I feel like this film handled it better from the comics and like made a point about it and it just made more sense than what the comic did. Um, Anything else would you say about Spider Verse? Um, uh, to mention,
Um,
I know it's in your number two. You want to discuss?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think just like the amount of thought that went into every single aspect of this movie is just, well, as you said, it's like it's a love letter to the character of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like watching it just brings a smile to my face. It's great.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah.
God. And I love the soundtrack. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
great.
god. Oh my god. Sunflower is one of my favorite songs, and I listen to it every time I get. Oh my god, it's amazing, amazing soundtrack. I love it. Okay. I guess I go to my second, my second list. If we have, are you done with Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah. Let's hear your number two.
Okay, number two, Black Panther.
Okay.
Okay, so I saw this twice, and this film is the personal film for me because this is the first time me and my good childhood friend Chris, that's his name, we actually started to hang out after
Mhm.
he drives, and so ever since then, me and him started to hang out, and we've been watching films together in theaters. I saw Tenet the second time with him, and then we saw Wonder Woman the second time with him. My first times with those films were with Miss Flamingo, and ever since this 2021, I've been with him watching films of Ray of the Last Dragon. I saw Kong versus Godzilla with him. I
Mhm.
saw Mortal Kombat, and this is the film that started that chain reaction, and I love this film. It's one of my personal favorite films. It's one of the best MCU films. If you check my top 10 favorite MCU films in the Marvel Plus channel, this is number one for me for MCU film.
Mhm.
It's the most it's the best thematically film that I ever seen in a superhero film. Um, it's I think it's one of the best character driven films I've seen in my life. It's amazing all around. Yes, there's flaw. I know the CGI is not good. I agree,
Mhm.
but it doesn't distract me. Uh, I think the only way that distracts me if don't I'm not liking some of the story points, but that's not with Black Panther. I love the story points.
Mhm.
Um, and the villains, I love the villains in this film. I
Mhm.
mean, Claw, Elisa's Claw, and Killmonger is probably the best villains of the MCV film. And then they kill them off, but I love they kill them off for reasons, and
Mhm.
it's sad not to have them, but I appreciate they have their reasons to go to
Yeah.
to go off, and it, it's one of my favorite films. I love this film. Well, what do you think about this film?
Yeah, no, I agree that it's a really like strong movie. Um, I agree with what you said about the villains, and I think my favorite part of the movie is just the setting. Like,
Mm,
I think Wakanda is fascinating.
yes.
I'm really looking forward to exploring it in the second movie, and also that Disney Plus series that they're making.
Yes, I agree. Um, oh my God, yeah, I love Wakanda, and they did the best. This is my favorite interpretation of Wakanda, and like, um, and honestly, the performances is amazing. Of course, the late great Chadwick Boseman is great as
Mhm.
Black Panther. I'm very happy that he has Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame, 4 appearances in the MCU.
Mhm.
So we can cherish those 4 films and remember him for the longest time.
Mhm.
So it's great. I love like it, and it's incredible. Just like Spider Verse, um, we got a full on black cast, and it
Mhm.
was so successful. I mean, this was a cultural phenomenon, and
Mhm.
I felt this was like I think Marvel handled it well, and like it was incredible to see that. And I can't believe it. Domestically, it did more than Infinity War.
Mhm.
And that was crazy to hear that. And I'm like, oh my god. Uh, yeah, and I agree with you, Will. I'm excited for the expansion of the film and expansion of this universe and Disney Plus and and the sequel. Oh man, it's bittersweet. I don't want to say like sad. I want to say it's bittersweet. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, to have this film to remember Chadwick Boseman. But I think everyone was top notch in this film, and
Mhm.
I, 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 it's a great film. That's all I have to say. Uh, and anything else you want to say about Black Panther? Uh,
No, I'm good.
let's get into number one. What's your number one, Will?
All right, my number one Marvel movie is Avengers Endgame.
Oh my God, really? Okay, tell me.
Uh, so when I was talking about the first Avengers movie before, I
Mm,
mentioned it felt like it was like something special. It was like the culmination of those first 5 movies.
hmm
Um, but this one just had that same like energy behind it, but it was built up over a decade. And then I think they just like really perfectly like pulled it off in a way like
mm,
you'd think they'd fumble at some point just because of like how many like balls they were thrown in the air, but they were able to juggle everything, and
yeah,
it was just really satisfying. And like nothing beats that moment in the theater where everyone who was snapped comes back and they all like come to
the
Steve's
photos.
side. It was just such a great moment.
I know. I love that. Um, when Marvel did the like showing the films that are going to be in the theaters, and
Mm-hmm.
they do the reaction of that scene where
Yeah.
everyone's it's oh my god it's oh my god, and I love that moment where uh, Captain America say Avengers Assemble.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I want to say also it's kind of convenient and also fascinating. I saw Endgame last night when I was finishing my work, and I had a chance to see that. Oh my god, it's yeah, I I'm happy you put it in number one. It's not my favorite MCU film. I have some problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling it the worst film. I'm just saying. I mean, I put it in my top 10 worst films, but like it's in low at that. Um,
Okay.
it's not. I mean, it's the worst film in superhero
No,
films. No, no,
it's,
no. It's just for me. Um, I I kind of flip flop what you say. I think Infinity War was more like that for me, where it recaptured the magic what I thought about the first Avengers film, and I prefer that film because of the interaction of the characters and Thanos and his quest, and it feels more of a film and tightly
mhm.
structured. Where Endgame is totally a just epic film, but there was just 20 points I did not agree with, and like I um some jokes I don't like, and there's some of the character development I did not care for or I didn't like at all, like the Fat Thor. I don't like Hulk. Like Hulk is my favorite character in Marvel, and I don't like the way they handle this character.
Okay.
Um, It just personally me, folks. And it's just my
Yeah, I
preference.
have a lot of the same opinions about Infinity War. I think
Oh yeah.
I don't
Well,
like what they did with Hulk or Thor in that movie.
no, no.
Um,
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't like Hulk in Infinity War. I liked him more in Endgame, but I don't like Thor in this film, where I like Thor more in Infinity War. Like it's weird. Like
yeah,
it, I mean, you mentioned before. Like I'm impressed how they like handled the juggling the balls around. Like it's impressive they had to handle these two major crossovers. But like I don't know. It's crazy.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Um, but I mean, I was happy the way Captain America and Iron Man's arc ended. So
yes.
I want to acknowledge that this film did what it did for me as an Iron Man fan. So and you as a Captain America fan, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. We need to represent. It'd be funny this just you and me as Iron Man fans, and Captain America is just no fans in this chat. Oh my god. Anything else to say about Endgame?
I think I'm good. I'm excited to hear what your number one pick is.
Okay. It's fascinating. We're mentioning Avenger Endgame, and it has the time travel plot,
Uh-huh.
which I don't like. Where this other film, I feel like, does the time travel better. And, folks, we have a third X Men film, and you combine that, well, folks, X Men Days of Future Past is my number one favorite Marvel film. Oh my god. What to start? This film is personal for me. I saw this twice in theaters. Actually, it was a funny story. I was supposed to see 22 Jump Street again with another friend I know from high school, and I think I don't know what happened. Like he lost his ID, so we couldn't see 22 Jump Street in 2014. So I asked him if he wanted to see X Men Days of Future Past, and he would say okay. And I saw this the second time, and that made me so happy. And then personally, it's this film or a specific character like Quicksilver helped me start my YouTube channel. Like it's helped me become a permanent editor, video editor, for my goal as heading to my adult. Um, I switched careers. Like for personal reason, I'll not discuss why I changed my filmmaking goals to editing. But um, when I started YouTube, I kind of just like started at fun, and then when I did the quick service VU, VU for YouTube, and I put the time in the bottles on, and that was like my first, point K reviews, and that for me made me so like committed to doing this YouTube thing forever, and like so this film and that character Christopher means like it holds a special heart in my in my heart, and I own this film a lot to my direction of my film, and for me it I can relate to Charles Xavier as a character. I like how he like like just not knowing what you're gonna do, like you feel you like fail as a person, but then like you get to rise up, like all that, like his arc is like it's so powerful, and like it's and for a film that is so dark with the apocalypse, a future, and it ends up being the most optimistic film ever. um oh, I love that. And this is the best adaptation of a story from the comics. Like they were like they stayed faithful to the storyline of the X-Men Days of Future Past, but then they did a good job of like fitting it into the movie first, right? I
Hmm.
love I love the idea of um the Sentinels being based on Mystique's DNA. I love that. That's such a creative thing. And I love of course I mentioned X-Men First Class. I couldn't put this in this list, but I love the alternate like revisits history. I love that with Wonder Woman, the first film,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
love First Class for that, and of course Captain America First Avenger. I like that too. This film takes it a notch. I love that about this film. And also, you and I, Will, you and I have been discussing how the best X-Men team-based films, X2 and First Class, and this is the best one. This one is the best of all of that because it has a huge cast. Like you got the prequel cast, Fassbender and McAvoy and Lawrence, and then you have the older cast from the original trilogy with the new characters that you haven't seen in the movies, and like crazy. Oh my god. One of the most tightly like cohesive structure film I ever seen. It's clocking 2 hours, which is good, just like First Class, and like it delivers on that. It's one of the most best ambitious arena films ever, and it just delivers in all fronts. And I agree with some people. It should be. It should have been the final film for X-Men series. And I wish they ended at this point. And it was like, opportunities. Anyway, what do you think about Days of Future Past, Will?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's not one of my favorites.
No, I understand. There's flaws in this film. I can get it.
It's not the worst X-Men movie by a long shot, but
no.
It didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. Why? Tell me, Will. Why? I'm kind of curious.
I don't know. I felt like they didn't need to connect the original movies to the X-Men First Class series.
Yeah.
And like after, like I really like X-Men First Class. I think that's after Logan and X2. I think that would be my next favorite X-Men movie. And it felt like everything that they had set up with that kind of got like messed up by having to incorporate this like time travel plot into it. It like didn't give that like version of the characters enough time to like develop.
I agree. I want to say like the setup with the Brotherhood, the First Class. I agree with that. That they kill off almost half the First Class characters that we had in that film.
Mm-hmm.
And that was disappointing. And I didn't like they changed Magneto's helmet. Mm-hmm. That's another beef I have with that. This film. I was like, you had the comic book accurate helmet, and they changed it in this film. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. And anything else problems for this film? Because I agree with what you're saying.
I didn't really like. I don't normally like time travel movies, and like I do have a problem with the time travel in Endgame, and that like what's stopping them in future movies from just like time traveling and fixing all their problems. But I don't know, it just wasn't satisfying for me personally.
Well, okay. I can understand why. My thing about the time travel in Endgame over Days of Future Past is they make it such a big deal and make it jokes about the time travel, and that really bothers me. There's funny jokes about it. Like I like Scott Lang's like joke of they're like all of it is bull S and and that was a funny line for him. But then I don't like how they they acknowledged the films that did time travel, Terminator, Back to the Future, and it's like, and then they couldn't hold up the logic of time travel in their film. Like that really bothers me.
I think it had a consistent logic. I think the only thing that breaks it is
the Cap one.
At the end.
I had this
respect. During the time heist, it was very internally consistent.
Yeah. We had to disagree and agree in certain aspects. I don't know, like it's hard for me to swallow. Where I guess the theme for me is the Days of Future Past time travel is from the comics, and I like that about it. like they were using the theme. Like it could have done other ways. Like in the '90s cartoon, they couldn't done the like wrist the the wristbands they use, and then that's how they time travel. I appreciate how they did actually stick with the comic book, uh, like time travel they did in the comics, and like I like that, and I like how Kitty Pryde was the one that did it, and because she was like a major character in that story because they
Mhm.
had to change it. I appreciate at least they gave Kitty some role, and like that for me made me like the film, and
Yeah.
that's the thing about Endgame. It's just I, they used the quantum realm, but like it's like how you know that the quantum realm can time travel. Like I don't know. Like,
Well, they set that up in the Ant-Man movies.
yeah, but
Time
I
moved differently in it.
oh I guess you're right. You're right. I just for me they don't talk about it enough in those films, and like it's frustrating because they they're supposed to be these smaller films, but then they're trying to connect them with these bigger events, and it's like it feels off to me with those films. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah, I,
I don't know.
I disagree. I think it like felt consistent with the universe that they had built.
Okay,
I just
that
don't like the problems that it creates in future stories.
yeah,
If you
that's true.
treat Endgame as like the end of a franchise.
Yes, that's true. And I will give you this point: the aftermath endgame has been great. They've been addressing those um, plot points. Like we are gonna get the multiverse and like
Right.
how this that connected, and
Yeah.
then
I like that you feel the consequences of Endgame in
yeah,
the future installment.
yes, I agree. Um, yeah, I that's the thing I like about the Disney Plus shows and moving forward. No, you have a point with that part, Will, and I can understand why because I mentioned before, uh, I mean, unfortunately, the X Men films are not the MCU, and so uh, the follow up after Days of Future Past just didn't deliver and
Right.
didn't address the questions that they left in Days of Future Past, and it's oh my god, that's just a whole other conversation we can discuss. But I agree with that point. Well, you're right. I'm curious to discuss the anime films with you one day. You know,
Yeah,
go
sure.
over. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else you want to say about Days of Future Past? Will, you want to
Uh,
say?
I think I'm good. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I covered Days of Future Past. I'm happy we had like a very lively discussion about these films. I'm I kind of happy we had some of them overlapping in the list,
Hmm.
and I like that because I always like those type of lists, and I like that you and I did have like a couple of ones here, so
Hmm.
it was great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love your list. I think it's a good list. I love your list. I'll say.
Yeah, I love yours too.
Oh man. I guess so. Now, let's kind of discuss the next podcast. I want to let you take the conversation. Well, do you have anything in mind you want to discuss? Like, I've been directing these podcasts, and I want you to kind of pick the next topic and like go somewhere we haven't done yet.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Um, hmm, yeah, I don't know. Would you want to talk about? Let's do the first Avengers movie.
All right. We'll do that. Let's do that for next Sunday. So, thank you, folks, for listening to this podcast. Me and Will will be back next Sunday to discuss Captain America: The First Adventure. So, thank you for listening to this podcast. Me and Will will be back. Hit that subscribe button and see you guys soon.